Hi guys, thanks for clicking on my video. Today I'll be showing you how to paint a lot of models quickly, both with and without an airbrush. I'll be doing two test models, one with the airbrush and one with a paintbrush, to give you guys some options and see which style you like best. I'm just starting by priming all the models with Vallejo black and white airbrush primer, but you can also do this zenithal highlight technique with a spray can primer if you don't have an airbrush. Once I've finished the test models, I'll be doing 40 chain rasps for my Nighthaunt army in a grimdark style to match my grimdark Lady Olynder. Link in the description below if you want to see that tutorial. I'll be taking two models in the same pose so you can better see the differences in the paint techniques. I'm using the same red mix, both for the airbrush and the paintbrush, which consists of Vallejo Bloody Red Game Colour, Liquitex Crimson and black inks, Liquitex Matte Medium and airbrush thinner. You can use water rather than airbrush thinner if you want. Model B on the right was dipped in the mix and left to dry. Model A on the left was sprayed. My plan is to end up with some kind of white to red fade on their cloaks, so I just airbrushed the lower half of the model. I put a second layer of red on each. After that layer was dry, I dry brushed Rotten White Vallejo Game Colour with my eyeshadow brush over both models. Next I used Rotten White again to do some more focused highlights with my small pointy brush, and I did this to both models. I can't tell yet which one I'm going to prefer by the end. I added another layer of red towards the bottom of the models with the airbrush and the paintbrush on Model A and B respectively. The airbrush has definitely neatened up Model A again. Model B is looking more rough around the edges. Time to add a bit more contrast with my shadow wash of Liquitex Crimson and black ink, matte medium and water. The crimson is just to warm up the black a bit. Then I did a final dry brush highlight with my eyeshadow brush and then flicked on some blood spatters with my red mix. So that's nearly it, but before I show you a comparison, let's do some work on the bases. I covered the base with Vallejo earth texture in dark earth colour and pressed in some tea leaves. Licorice and black peppermint tea from Lidl if you were curious. It's got some nice little woody fragments and a mix of dark leaves. And here we go. Here are the test models side by side, with airbrush on the left and without on the right. I don't know if one is necessarily better than the other, but there's definitely a difference in style. I think it probably comes down to personal preference. The airbrush does make the gradient smoother and gives a cleaner, more polished finish, but the painted model has a lot more depth, because more of the paint has collected in the recesses to create more contrast in the folds. I think for a grimdark, blood-spattered model, the paintbrush probably has the edge, just because it turned out more grimy looking. You can see the brush strokes, but I think this gives it character. I think for a non-metallic metal finish it would be much easier with an airbrush, because you want it to be clean and smooth. If you're interested in a tutorial on that, you can find my non-metallic metal blood knights in the description below. But for the rest of my chain rasps, I think I'll end up doing something in between. Just for ease, I'll start the first layer of red with the airbrush, then I'll paint a second layer of red with my paintbrush. Then they'll need some dry brush highlighting with Rotten White, and maybe some minimal highlights with my small brush depending on how long I want to spend on the horde. After that, an all over wash with my black mix, some blood spatters, basing, and I'll be done. And let's take a look at our speed painted Battleline. So, surprise surprise, the moral of the story is, when you're trying to paint stuff quickly, dry brushes and washes. I'm sure most of you already use these techniques when you're painting, but hopefully you can get a sense of how simple it really is to pull a big army together once you've got your plan. It kinda doesn't matter how badly painted your battle line are, to some extent, because the sheer number of them all together will always be impressive. My advice would be, if you're planning to paint a large number of models all at once, mix your own washes. These inks and matte medium from Liquitex are a great investment. You'll be able to pretty much mix up any colour you want from this set, and a little goes a long way. Be sure to subscribe if you want to see me make some grim dark forest terrain to complement these guys in my next video. Give me a like if you liked it, and let me know which method you think looked best in the comments below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.